see here. High tech over here, buddy. Oh, that's good enough. Very important question. Can y'all see me and hear me before we get started? Are we 5x5-ish? You know, for the most part. Thank you. 5x5. Okay. So we've been dealing with grid. The grid's kind of been shaky for the last hour. We're getting a lot of rain. I don't know if the mic's picking that up, and some wind. So thank y'all for the 5x5s. Sorry it's late this morning / afternoon. I actually had to be at a sports meeting for the upcoming soccer season with one of my kids at school. Anyway, long story short, thank you for being here. Welcome to preppernation. Lots of new faces showing up here, and that's a good thing. Be sure you hit subscribe. Some people probably didn't know that we were going to be late this morning. I put that in the community section here on Prepper Nation. You get notified if you're subscribed to the page or to the channel. West Virginia Hillbilly, first live. Thank you for being here this morning. Max Havoc was the first in the house this morning, and what a chaotic morning it has been. Who else is in the house? Kevin Grip is here. Heather's here. Devin is here. I'm trying to catch my breath. Teresa's here. I had to rush in there real quick and fill the coffee cup back up. Forrest is here. Paradise, what's up? Hippie Grandma's here. Dome Seeker says, hey there. Sky Dancer, Little Red Hen says, hey, y'all. Lots of people in here. What in the world, son? That I haven't seen in a while. Michael G, what's going on? Robin, good morning. Phoenix Warrior, Dynamite. There he is. Dennis Ross, good morning. So let me just start off by saying, are you ready for the end of civilization? How's that for some gloom and doom? Prepping community, y'all want some gloom and doom? How is that tagline or title? Are you ready for the end of civilization? I had somebody send some intel to me last night on Patreon, and I was actually making notes, and I was like, shh, that's actually tomorrow's topic. Don't say anything. We jumped in it, both boots. I appreciate that Michigan lifestyle. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up or down, whatever. If you can't take the technical nonsense and me bumbling over here with technology, thumb it down, son. But I appreciate that. We jumped in it with both boots. We're going to be talking about all kinds of crazy stuff this morning, but we're going to start with the Doomsday Clock, which is where the tagline and the artwork and stuff comes from. So there's a group of atomic scientists called the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, a bunch of weirdos, if I'm being honest with you. They started this group in 1947, pretty much as the Cold War was starting to come into the picture, because they realized, okay, now we have scare tactic. It may be Rapala, but they realized back in 1947, at the end of World War II, okay, now we have weapons that have the potential to obliterate entire cities or even worse. And I think they realized, World War III at some point is inevitable. They're thinking this in 1947. So ever so often they go in and they have this actual clock that they move back and forth. And again, it's called the Doomsday Clock. And they put out a video yesterday. It's all over social media. Just Google Doomsday Clock and you'll find it. And they say that this is a chilling visualization of how close we might be to the end of civilization. So in other words, they're admitting, hey, this is a scare tactic to a degree. We're trying to scare people. We're trying to get them to, when things are getting really bad, to pump the brakes a little bit. Slow down. We don't need to escalate things any further. Kind of back it off. And normally it's 15 minutes until doomsday, or it's an hour until doomsday, something like this. Yesterday, JRC Homestead, good morning. Yesterday is the closest to doomsday they've ever predicted. They say we're 90 seconds away. 90 seconds away from doomsday. In other words, one more stupid move by somebody is enough to end the world as we know it. Now, doomsday is going to mean different things for different people. Some people look at doomsday and they think that's it. The world's over. Other people are going to look at doomsday and say, no, we're just going to go through a very, very nasty world war and things are going to look entirely different on the back end of it. Maybe things end up looking better in the long run. Maybe they're much worse. Who knows? And of course, they went on to specifically blame the war in Ukraine and Putin and Russia. I mean, they pointed the finger right at him and they said, it's his fault. So what do y'all think? Do you think it's Putin's fault entirely? Chat before we move on to the next question. I don't even have a tie out just in case here. This is ridiculous. Let me grab one real quick. Okay. We ain't there yet, but I am unorganized this morning. Squirrely Radio says no. It's not solely on Putin. Captain Coral says Biden's fault. Nope. FJB, Heathen says. Bunch of people are saying no. Couple of people said, it's variables, different things playing into it. It's not just one individual. So let me ask a few questions here. Isn't NATO partially to blame for this? Because we just entered World War III red hot, and we're going to get into that in a few moments. I know McBean is over there and a couple more folks follow me on Twitter, and I blasted the link out yesterday. But isn't NATO partially to blame? Haven't they really, NATO was put together to prevent wars. For those that don't know, they were put together so things could be taken care of politically and voted on and avoid wars. And it seems to me, all NATO does is go to war. It seems like they're doing the exact opposite of what they were created for, but this is opinion. Isn't the EU partially to blame? The European Union has basically went in, from my point of view, my perspective, and colonized countries. Countries become basically states inside of a larger country that is the EU. I don't view them as a country. I don't think they're legitimate whatsoever, but they view themselves this way. And they cause a lot of chaos in terms of trade and stuff like this. What about the WEF? Aren't they partially to blame here? Don't they carry some of the burden? And I'm not saying excuse Putin. I think he does carry some of the blame, and Russia as well. But the WEF, let me ask you this question, and y'all put this in the chat and you let me know what you think. Do you find it odd that during the WEF meetings, everything seemed kind of sort of calm worldwide? I mean, you had your war going on, you had conflicts here and there. But the moment the WEF meeting is adjourned and they're done, all of a sudden we start seeing mass incidents. Do y'all think that's just coincidence, or do you think there's something more to it? All of a sudden, all of this chaos is starting to rear its head up right after the WEF has met and decided, the next decade of our lives or whatever. Isn't some of the blame on Joe Biden for signing us up for an illegal North American Union? He's trying to give our statehood away. He's trying to do the same thing that the countries in the EU have done. Here's our power. You own us now. Govern us, please. Doesn't he bear some of the responsibility here? I don't know. Isn't it the fact that we have such a bad policy and non-enforcement on illegal immigration? Doesn't that bear some of the blame? What about the Chinese police stations here in the United States? How did this happen? The people that allowed that, aren't they partially to blame? As I was thinking about this yesterday, I made a statement. It's been last week sometime. I was talking about how the poor cities and the poor neighborhoods, we can't afford those folks can't afford to hire lobbyists to go and talk to congressmen and women. I think congressmen, thank y'all for the time. Congressmen and women, I think the average was 16 lobbyists per congressman, per congresswoman, versus none for the American people. And I said, last week I made the statement, we can't afford to hire lobbyists. Robert Moody, thank you very much. I will be adding you later on Xbox Live. So if you see a crazy name coming across, it'll be me. But I saw your comment yesterday. I appreciate it. And the more I thought about it, I said, wait a minute. Congress, these people are our lobbyists. They work for us. We're already paying them to lobby for us, and they're not doing it. They haven't done it. Both sides of the aisle. Are they not partially to blame for this? We should not have sent one red penny, if those even still exist, to Ukraine. It's not our problem. And now we're jumping into World War III with both boots. All right. And so we're going to talk about that. What do y'all think? Has Congress let us down? Both sides. This is not a political thing here. It's not Republican and Democrat. These thieves have let us down for decades now. They are supposed to be our voice, and they've not done a great job. Maybe the actual reset that we need is at the government level. I'm just saying. I don't know. So, news broke yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. Germany is now preparing to send. They're only sending 14 tanks, 14 Leopards, to begin with. And that's very important because it ain't going to end there. They're sending 14. They also to Ukraine, and they also greenlit their allies sending as many as they want. You got Leopard tanks, you can send them. You've all got the green light. The United States is sending an unspecified amount of M1 Abrams, along with full resources, meaning, the infrastructure that they are going to need to keep these things humming, the repair crews and things like this. We're at war. They're estimating now that a grand total of around 90 to 100 tanks are going to hit Ukraine in the next couple of months. Here, President Zelensky, here's the tanks you've been asking for. Here's 90 tanks that are coming your way. What is his response? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. We need 500. He literally said we need at least 500 tanks to make a difference. So thank you for jumping in with both boots into World War III. Now we need 5 times as much as you're willing to give us to stand a chance against Russia. This thing is a never-ending black hole. We have been sucked into a world war, folks. It's ridiculous. And writing blank checks, yes. So the smartest people on planet Earth right now, I'm not talking about the elites when I say this. They've been building bunkers, and they know this is coming, right? The smartest people on planet Earth, I don't care what country you're from, are prepping right now and have been prepping, because we're getting ready to see a hellscape in this country. Europe is toast at this point. Russia's not going to pull out of this war. I do not see Vladimir Putin pulling out of this war, looking weak, getting removed from office. What is going to happen in Russia now is they're going to fully mobilize. They're going to get their A-team ready. They're going to get their top gear ready, and they're going to set up for this spring offensive. And as Zelensky begins to lose tanks, this is so stupid, because M1 Abrams, these are advanced tanks. All right. Some of the technology in the M1 Abrams, Russia does not have. The first time a Ukrainian crew gets overtaken, if that were to happen, now they have this technology. All right. The more advanced stuff that we send them, the more advanced stuff Russia can replicate. They're going to fully mobilize. And when this happens, because they feel like they have no choice now, they're going to start conscripting like crazy. They're going to turn their entire economy now is going to be based around war. Guess what we're going to have to do in the United States to keep pace, to keep up with the Joneses, if you will, as Backwoods was saying the other day. There he is. What's up, Backwoods? As he was saying, keeping up with the Joneses the other morning. Now the United States and its allies, we're going to have to do the same thing. We don't have enough boots on the ground. We don't have enough boots, period, to put on the ground to fight a world war. We don't have enough. We don't have enough equipment to continue to send it. So what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to make more. We're getting ready to become a wartime economy here in the United States during a recession or depression, however you want to view it, with Joe Biden and Cackles in the White House, with a Congress that can't get along and don't represent the people. We're already facing shortages. We can't even find pet food in this area. Now, of course, we've got some in reserve and stuff, and we put like pumpkin and green beans in with the dog food. But I'm just saying, people here are panicking now because they can't find pet food. They can't find medication. They can't find certain things that they need. And now we're getting ready to become a war economy, which is going to make it 100 times worse. Promise you. Shortages are going to be everywhere. Inflation is getting ready to bust through the glass ceiling like we've never seen it before. Maybe during, the first Great Depression. But this makes preppers look really, really smart. If you have been handling your business, pat yourself on the back. Go ahead and take a second, pat yourself on the back. Because you've been taking care of business. You should be okay. And we'll go over a list in a second, but I mean, honestly, you should be okay. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. If it's your first day in the prepping community, welcome. Is it too late to start prepping? No. Are you ever going to catch somebody in chat that's been prepping for 15 years? No, not in this economy. Not unless you're sitting on Warren Buffett's money. At this point, you can do what you can do. And it's better than nothing. But a lot of these people that have been taking care of business, they've been mylaring, they've been canning, they've been growing, they're good to go. A lot of these people are way ahead of where I'm at. So everything is pointing to a really, really bad time in human history. Not just a war, not just a global war, but the nastiest, filthiest war that we've ever seen. Because the weapons of war are so much more advanced than they were last time around. I don't know. I think maybe history repeats itself because people forget. Maybe people have forgotten what World War is like, and they want to try it out again. I'm not going to be sent over to fight for Ukraine. If you're from Ukraine and you're tuning in, God bless you, but I'm sorry. I'm not coming to fight for your country. It's bad enough that these thieves are taking my tax money to pay for a war anyway. I will not be going to fight for Russia. I'm going to be sitting here making sure my family does not starve to death in Joe Biden's America. Bad times are coming. Look, folks, I was having fun with the thumbnail art and the title and stuff this morning. I'm not trying to depress anybody or to gloom and doom and stuff. But we've been talking about this for 2 years. I can remember specifically 2 years ago getting clowned in the community because I said, hey, pieces are moving around. I said it was like a Risk board game. Pieces are being moved around that shouldn't be moved around. We're seeing a lot of weird stuff that reminds me of a setup for a world war, and here we are. So if you're in chat and you don't believe this is World War III, and I mean this respectfully, I would like to see a comment explaining how we get out of World War III at this point. Because as I'm playing it out in my head, right? I'm playing it out and I'm like, well, Putin's not going to back out. He's too far in. I mean, he's too far in. He needs a big win somewhere, and then he can say, oh, the military operation's over. He's not getting any big wins. He's having to grind right now. He's losing Russian troops. The Wagner private military group, they said, it could be propaganda. They said it's 80% convicts that have enlisted, and they've lost like 60% of their fighting force. They're getting waxed. They're throwing these people into a meat grinder while they are preparing their main force. That's exactly what's happening. These people are the reserves. They're just throwing them into a fan to buy time. How do they back out at this point? On the flip side, now that we've jumped in with both boots and now that we are fully funding a war, how do we back out as the United States? It's all about saving face for leaders of nations. How do you back out? You don't. I don't believe you do. I believe we've been sucked in too far at this point. Once Germany gave that go-ahead and then the United States doubled down and said, we're sending M1 Abrams as well, it was over. We're in World War III, folks. Just continue to do your thing. Don't be distracted. There are going to be a lot of nonsense stories popping up, okay? And this one brought a laugh. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a Pelosi bill in Congress where they're trying to eliminate stock trading by congressmen and women. That should have never been allowed in the first place. So, yeah, they need to outlaw it. But it's a, yeah, Lord Eagle, I remember that too. I do. But it's a much smaller story, and it's going to be blown up to the headlines. You know, the mainstream media, they're going to pump a lot of nonsensical stuff. You know, Justin Bieber stories and stuff near the top, a lot of celebrity stuff. Don't pay attention to that stuff. Stay focused on the war, stay focused on the economy. I promise you, these are the top two things you need to worry about. We have to worry about nukes now. I don't think widespread, but I think, you know, tactical nukes, it's a concern now. If Russia was just threatening us and posturing, it's one thing. But if they're really prepared to reach out and touch the United States. So yesterday we were talking about there's one in a submarine in or around the area of Hawaii, they believe. There's another one over here on the East Coast hovering around somewhere. They don't know the exact location of either one, and they're nuke capable. So now we have that threat to worry about, okay? So here's a list of top 5 things. There are many things that you need to, y'all hear the rain? That I would be, you know, not worried about, but just focused on as a prepper right now, okay? Ask yourself these 5 questions. Do you have enough food? That's question number 1. Because in a wartime economy, this is a huge issue. All right, people go without. In wartime economies, even when your country is not seeing boots on the ground, things typically get so bad that the parents are eating 1 meal a day so the kids can eat, if they're lucky enough to have 1 meal a day. So do you have enough food? And Outlaw Farm says yes, check. Number 2, do you have a source of water and means to purify it? This can be water filtration system like a Berkey or a Lexapure or something like that. This can be boiling, you know, the primitive stuff. Do you have a means to purify it? And do you have a plan that does not involve walking 5 miles back and forth, all right, to get your water? Number 3, are you good on home security? I bring this up because as the economy gets worse and as we turn into a wartime economy, violence is going to explode in the United States. Lots and lots and lots of robberies and home break-ins, much more than we're seeing right now. You know, can you secure your home? Is it locked down? Do you have adequate lighting? Do you have guns and things to protect yourself? Number 4, are you focused on warmth and the ability to charge things? So lots of people out there, they have generators that are going to run their entire house, and that's awesome. And if you have that, you know, good for you, fantastic. You don't really need that to survive. All right, but you do need to be able to stay warm somehow. Do you have backup heating options, for example? And you need the ability to charge the smaller stuff. Can you keep your phone charged should the grid go down? Do you have emergency radios with multiple ways to charge them? Do you have battery chargers that are solar options, things like this? Maybe do you have a small generator that you can charge this stuff? Because again, this is something that I would be thinking about during a wartime situation. Number 5, do you have enough cash or valuables on hand? Do you have enough to get you through? The grid goes down for 3-4 weeks. Maybe there's a cyber attack. The banking system crashes. We're already in a wartime economy. There's chaos everywhere. Do you have enough to potentially either barter or get out of Dodge, so to speak? These are the 5 things that I would be concerned about right now. Most of you probably checking them off like, yeah, man, this is nothing. But again, there are a lot of new faces that I'm seeing in chat. Somewhere in West Texas, good morning. We have tons to barter. It's just getting crazy. You know, how can I put this? We didn't need to see that news about the tanks going in, because it's not going to stop with the tanks. And we just stopped at the store yesterday. The pet food, like I said, it's obliterated. I mean, there's nothing right now on the pet food aisles, but that's not the only shortage that we're seeing. A lot of stuff is there, but you have to watch out. We've been buying milk, and we've got burned a couple times just not paying attention. We'll go get a gallon of milk, and we'll get home, and it's 2 days until it expires. You know, and we'll be talking to friends, and they're like, "Yeah, we bought a gallon of milk, and it expired yesterday, and we didn't realize till we got home." Stuff like this, they're putting it out anyway, I think, to cover up shortages. Now, this is just my opinion, and it may just be a regional thing. But you can't fight a war without soldiers. Okay, we don't have enough, so people are gonna. I think they'll try the carrot first. They'll offer huge incentives, signing bonuses, and then if they still don't have enough people, they're gonna bring the stick out. Okay, don't want to be involved in that. And then once they get enough soldiers and they lock everything down, well, now you have to clothe them, you have to feed them, you have to do all this stuff, logistics, and that's going to come right out of the civilian supply in Joe's America. It's just not a good look all the way around. Wood stove, Paradise Acres, there you go. So there's your gloom and doom for the morning from the guy in the red tie here. Now let's free for all it. Let's jump into chat and see what you folks have to say about this or anything else. There is other news out there, but I mean, this is pretty big news, folks. Let's see here. I'm checking. Jacob, I have 2 posts waiting to be approved on Facebook. Clock and nuke sub source information included. Can you pull some strings? I can, as long as they are there to promote another. I don't mind a little shameless self-promotion, you know, and we're going to get into that in a second. But a lot of the bigger creators, I'm not there to promote their stuff on our page, because I don't even promote my own videos over there. It's more of a community where people talk back and forth. Having said that, and I meant to do this yesterday and I forgot, if you have a channel here on YouTube, please let people know in the chat, if you don't mind. I meant to do this yesterday. I saw Shady up in here. I saw Casey Little, I saw McBean, and I totally forgot. You know, I am here. I want to help people that are in this community, and I want people's channels to grow and stuff like this. Normally, the only thing, again, on Facebook that I'm not going to approve, if it's already been flagged by Facebook for like partially false information, or again, if it's a video from a creator that has 900,000 subs and they're just trying to sell stuff, because I don't even try and sell stuff on that channel. You know what I'm saying? G-Dogs, all the above. I have a YouTube channel. There you go. If we had more moderators in here this morning, they could drop y'all's links. But you know, I'm just not here to sell stuff. And if somebody posts a video on Facebook from a huge creator and it's obvious they're trying to peddle something, I'm not pushing that through, man. You know, there's a good chance that people are already subbed to them anyway. They don't need to see the sales pitch twice. Grandbabies La Rosa, do you think nuclear bombs, people get triggered, are likely or unlikely to be dropped on American soil? Yesterday was a game changer a little bit. I still think they're unlikely, but if they were to occur, it's probably gonna be on the Eastern Seaboard somewhere. I'm looking hard at DC, and I'm looking hard at New York City. Those would be the 2 areas that I would be highly concerned about. Um, well, that's okay, even if it's not Howling on the Prairie, even if it's not a prepping channel, feel free to drop it. All the creators know the struggle of trying to come up with content and stuff. Oklahoma Jim says yes to that question. Brian Smith, I'll have to go in and check. I haven't been checking email all that much because it stays pretty packed, jam packed over there. But I'll go in and check it. Let's see. Mike McDonald, John, they never caught the person or people that blew up the Georgia Guidestones. I know it's weird timing, right? Weird timing, right as we're going into a reset, which plays right into what the stuff that was listed on the Georgia Guidestones. Um, they get destroyed. It's almost like they're trying to get rid of evidence. I've been wanting to sell my air guitar. Yeah, I'm not interested in that either, Yankee, but thanks. Hoover Dam, yeah, Jerry, Hoover Dam would be a concern as well. John, what Martian says, John, what's your favorite looking wrestling championship belt, the original WCW? The big one. Dynamite. I'll cook up some squirrels so good John won't know what he's eating. I will ask questions. I need to see an ingredients list before I do any of that. Backwoods is here. Backwoods has an excellent channel here on YouTube. Kelly, our moderator, the prepping artist, she has an excellent channel here on YouTube as well. Um, there are a lot of creators that come in and out of chat, and I feel bad because I miss them sometimes. Katrinka has a nice channel. So that's why I was saying, feel free to promote your stuff in here every so often. Try not to spam the chat because it flies anyway. But I have no problem, man, with people because you guys are here every day. You guys and gals are here pretty much every morning. And if you're going to support me, I'll bend over backwards to help anybody that I can. As long as you're not trying to get rich selling stuff, but to grow your channel, yeah, that's perfectly fine. John, it's not like that. It's Nate from Canadian Prepper and a Small Time Podcast. Both posts are video clips I took and are not links. Okay. Yeah, I'll go through when I get done and approve them. I have nothing against Nate. People think I don't like Nate at the Canadian Prepper. Uh, I think he's a very smart guy. I think we have a lot of things that differences between us, but I recognize he's a smart guy. I don't have anything against him personally. People think I'm picking on him, but no, I'm talking about very large creators in general. You know what I mean? That like to sell stuff all the time. I just don't want to bombard people with sales links all the time. Now I do work with BattleBox once a month, but I reached out to them. I was a subscriber. For those that don't know, I was a subscriber to Kern 1776, who's their official spokesperson now. But I was following him on YouTube before he became the spokesperson, and that's how I kind of got connected with BattleBox. So I know he's a good dude. Yes, Chewbacca, what are you trying to sell? Well, it depends on what you're trying to sell here. What's going on, brother? Um, but yeah, I don't harbor any bad feelings against any of the creators. I don't really, I'm one of these people, I don't care what other people think about me, creators or otherwise. I try and get along with everybody, but you won't hear me shout it out very often on other channels because I stay in my own lane over here and I'm just trying to do my own thing. This is my community right here. Um, you know, I like who I like and I follow who I follow. We're all going to die in 27 minutes. Now, I don't think we're going to die in 27 minutes. I think it's just it's gonna get a lot tougher than people are used to, seeing it, you know what I mean? Money-wise and shortages and things. Backwoods has squirrel for sale, he can keep it, Michael G. But yeah, I am sorry that it had to be later, today. I'm a little more awake though. Again, I had to get gussied up and I go to this meeting. One of my kids is playing soccer and I had to attend this meeting this morning at school. Didn't didn't know about it till late last night. Let's see here. So what well, Gavin Newsom. Oh, Gavin Newsom. He stays in the news. Rapala, he's always trying to get rid of the guns. They got the guy in the Supreme Court. I read now that he's trying to. I don't know how this works actually. Gavin Newsom is trying to get legislation passed in California where he can tax people even after they leave his state. So if someone leaves California and they move to Florida, they can continue to be taxed by the state of California. And I'm not really sure how that's legal. I'm sure they've danced around it somehow to try and make it legal, but it's just again, it's just not a good look. Your state's poor because people don't want to work and communism doesn't work. Jim, thank you very much. I was an M1A1 tanker. It takes years to build an effective armored force. Crap, where'd it go? Armor has to be used in conjunction with combined arms to be effective. Air power, artillery, and infantry. Exactly. Um, the U.S. hasn't released a number of what they're sending, but it seems like most of the countries are sending them in sets of 14, which would make sense. They're trying to put patchwork battalions together, would be the way to put it, but where they have different tanks and different armors and different technology. I'm not saying the Ukrainians won't be able to learn it, but it's going to take some time. They're not going to be able to drop the tanks on the ground, jump in and go, especially the Abrams. Warlord TV, good morning. Another great channel. Of course, you already know that. Okikon, I actually like it later. Well, uh, it's a little more chaotic, but it's one of those things where I'm gonna have to do it later from time to time. There may be some 11 o'clock mornings over here and there. Misty, oh, what a comment! I wish I could pull that up on the screen. Misty, thank you. Prepper Nation, I come here to feel normal. So just like the Ukraine is trying to get patchwork battalions put together, we're a patchwork of strays over here, this community. And so I appreciate that. I feel a little bit normal now seeing that kind of a comment and a little less like a stray. Let's see. Um, Elect of the End Times channel. That's a fancy channel name. We will be living as they did in the Red Dawn movie. If we see a boots on the ground invasion, some people will. That's not going to be a reality for urban areas, cities, and things. It's going to look entirely different. But yeah, if you're out in, you're out in rural America, yeah, that could become a reality. What is this normal you speak of? Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. So it's normal to me not to know. I think prepping has been proven as normal. It just people aren't laughing at it so much anymore, and getting back to the pet food for a second, we're covered, but my wife is still like, how, John, how much longer is this going to be going on? I'm like, baby, it's going to be going on for a while. But when we're in a store people are just standing there and they're just staring at the shelf and they can't figure it out. And I'm thinking, lady, you can stare at it until tomorrow morning. The food's not just going to magically appear. It's not there. But these are probably people that thought preppers were crazy, right? McBean, good morning. How are you doing, sir? Um, Captain Coral. Well, I'm going to go on this statement. I haven't seen it or anything, but I'm going to go off your statement. John, what do you think of Trump defending Pence this morning and saying that's his VP? So again, I was at a school soccer meeting, so I didn't see that news, but Pence does not have a snowball's chance of becoming the president in even a remotely fair election. Pence, Democrats don't like Pence, Republicans don't like Pence. I don't even know why he threw his name into the ring unless he just enjoys embarrassment. And this is before documents showed up at his house. So as far as why Trump would defend him, I have no idea. Maybe he's just trying to be civil about it or something, but Pence has no chance of becoming president. I hope I don't live to regret those words. I hope I'm not looking back in 2 years and we have Pence as president, but I don't see how it plays out. Little Red Hen, John, what are you planting in your garden this year? Whatever my wife tells me to. Honestly, we're probably going with pretty much the same, more green beans this year and probably less on the potatoes. We did not yield as many potatoes as we thought. Um, and green beans typically grow here very well. We had peppers did really well last year and cucumbers, but the thing with the peppers is you can only eat so many peppers, and in so many ways. So we're probably going to heavy on the cucumbers. Oh, Trump was trolling him. Okay, yeah, again, Bear Paw, I haven't seen it. Pence would never get the nomination, VR Lab Girl. I don't think he would either. I don't even know why the man announced that he was running. Like, what are you thinking, man? No voter likes you. I don't know of any. I don't know a single Mike Pence fan, personally or even online. I really don't. Can those peppers? Yeah, the wife does a bunch of canning, Steph L, and we picked up a bunch of canning stuff last year when we saw a ton of it toward the end of what we consider planting season. We just bought a bunch up, and she will be canning those. She cans a bunch of green beans and she does a bunch of pickles, but I can't stay out of the pickles. I mean, I really can't. I cannot stay out of the pickles, man. I go through them almost as fast as she can can them. Dehydrate peppers. We dehydrate. I'm trying to think of what it was now. We dehydrated something last year. I want to say it was fruits and stuff, maybe. Peaches. I think we did this thing. That's exactly what it was because we bought a bushel of white peaches and we dehydrated some and we canned some. And w- once they dehydrate, man, there's almost nothing. It is almost a waste of time and energy to dehydrate those. So we're gonna stick to canning the peaches this time. We opened the dehydrator after several hours and we're just looking. I'm like, man, this ain't even but a handful of stuff. Dill pickles, Janice, I like both. I like the bread and butter and the dill pickles. I prefer bread and butter if somebody knows how to make pickles, but I've had some really bad ones too. Uh, and in that case, I prefer the dill pickles. Hamburger pickles. When she does the pickles, she does both. So she'll do the whole cucumbers, but she gets the pickling cucumbers, so they're not huge or anything. She'll pickle them whole, and then she'll also we grow, but we buy a lot of the large cucumbers that are ready to go, and she'll cut those up. She'll slice them up, and can them that way. Teresa, you hate sweet pickles. What is wrong with you? Chow chow's good. Now I can do chow chow. Forget the squirrel. Heather says chow chow. I can do that. John, have you tried 14-day pickles? No. No. We the cucumbers that we got. No, that's not the cucumbers. I'm sorry. We got tomatoes that were growing like wildfire last year, and they were, I don't even know what kind they were. They were the ones that only grow to about the size of a high bounce ball or something. But them things, every 2 days you could go out and pick them, and they were all over the place. What is chow chow? Lizzie, what region of the country are you from? Chow chow's everywhere here. Cherry tomatoes. That might have been it, Michael G. I don't know. She bought the plants at Royal King when we put them in, and man, it didn't take long. But I'm not a big tomato eater. She is. She is, man. Squirrely Radio. Somebody in here may know. Question: what is the best grow light for seedlings? I mean, here at the Ponderosa, it's the sun. So if there's a good indoor grow light and somebody has one, could you please let them know? Amelia, hey, I found you too. Good morning. How are you doing? T5 for the grow lights. There you go. Yeah, the sun, McBean. We're not too advanced over here on the growing stuff, We're we're still learning. I thought it was a huge accomplishment when I figured out how to lift only a couple of inches, half of the raised beds off the ground to keep the water from like root rot and stuff. Backwoods knows a ton about growing. We were talking backstage one day and he was telling me all kinds of stuff. I'm like, let me write this down, tell my wife. But I think he's probably been doing it for years and years. Don't pick on the chow chow question. No, you've not been shadow banned, Prepper Trucker. I see you. I just normally you have that red circle beside your name, and I haven't seen it in chat here. Not really, Max Havoc. John, do you like fried green tomatoes? Not really. Normally, if I'm eating tomatoes, they're going to be small and they're going to be in a salad. My wife, on the other hand, loves them. Fried green tomatoes all day. Fried dill pickles. Somebody said dill pickles. Now, those I like. The fried dill pickles are the bomb, which probably sounds crazy to some people that have never tried them. But fried dill pickles, if you ever have the chance, try them. Squash I can do, McBean. My wife loves all that stuff. Zucchini, squash, the tomatoes, green tomatoes. Teresa, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've just never been a huge tomato eater. I mean, I can eat them. It's not like they're terrible or anything. It's just, I prefer other things. Gravy on a shingle. Sean, I've heard that, and I'm pretty sure that I've had it at some point, but I would have had to have been so young because I don't even remember eating it. I mean, we do like the chip beef on toast here. Captain Coral says, John, we are having antibiotic shortages here in Indiana. Students, mom spent the day and a half looking for it, and she's a nurse. Certain things, certain prescriptions, certain over-the-counter stuff, but over-the-counter stuff seems to be cold and flu related right now, and the respiratory stuff. The antibiotics, we haven't needed, let me knock on wood, we haven't needed any in a while here at home, so I really don't know if there's a shortage on those here or not. No, Jack, you are not shadow banned. No, we're not shadow banning anybody over here for the people that are asking. Um, YouTube sometimes will sneak in and nail somebody, but usually they just nail the entire stream and they're done with it. Jace Medical for antibiotics, main man says. Mike says it's rescheduled and I'm still a half an hour late. At least you're here. Um, ginger tea. Uh, ginger tea is great for respiratory. Like that comment because a lot of the herbal teas do a lot of cool things. And we have some of the what brand? I can't remember the brand now. It comes in a box about this size, and they have like the nighttime tea, they have the lemon tea, and all this other stuff. And my wife has 5 or 6 of them in there, of the boxes of them. I'll bring some tomorrow morning and show them to y'all, so I don't get it wrong. Celestial seasoning. Yeah, Celestial, I think that's it. Um, and in my defense, y'all, she's normally looking through the teas because she's a tea drinker, and it's on the coffee aisle everywhere we go, so I'm over on the looking through the coffee and stuff, so I don't get a good look at it. But anytime I start to feel sick or I'm getting a sore throat, she's like, "Here, drink this," and she'll put some honey in it, some raw honey, and it usually does the trick. It doesn't work so well at tax time when I get sick. When we leave, and we find out how much we owe, it don't help with that. Now, last year, they were having the trucker convoy, and they happened to be rolling through. I think I did a small video or something. They were rolling through on the interstate the day we had to go in and pay our taxes, and I was pissed. I'm not gonna lie. So I pulled off. My wife's like, "What are we doing?" I said, "We're going up here on the overpass." It's all I got. And we were cheering for him. I didn't know anybody that had gathered on the overpass. I'm still cheering. That's Tums time. You must know my wife backwoods. Hollowed out tomato stuffed with sausage, crack an egg in it, and cook it in oven. Dang good. So my wife does these things. Um, she got, I guess, from her mom because they both love them. They do stuffed peppers the same way you're talking. They'll put sausage, or sometimes they'll put beef in them and other things, cheese, or they'll do stuffed mushrooms. Um, they love to do the stuffed mushrooms, and they're both good. The bigger, you know what I'm saying? The bigger mushrooms, she'll buy them up, she'll stuff them and put them in the oven. And my dogs are walking around, they can't figure out where the scent's coming from. They trying to eat something. Stuffed peppers are the bomb. We use hamburger for ours. We usually do too. She does sausage sometimes, but normally it's, like the ground beef. Y'all got me hungry now. I ain't eaten lunch yet. Come on, y'all. Then I'm gonna have to go in here. Probably what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna be going through to find out what I'm eating for lunch. And I'm like, well, there's some ravioli that's out of date. I'm gonna have to eat a can of freaking ravioli to rotate it out and get rid of it. Sleepy time tea. Mike, she tried to get me on that sleepy time tea. It's got like a teddy bear or something on it on the box. But I'm like, honey, I just drank a pot of coffee 30 minutes ago. It ain't working. Yeah, they're called cherry tomatoes. Thank you, Loco. Corned beef hash. Okay, so corned beef hash is the bomb. And my wife liked it. Miss Nation liked corned beef hash until her uncle, Outlaw Prepper, was over here one day and he's like, you know how they get corned beef, right? And he's going into all these graphic details with the F bomb here and F bomb here. And she's like, I don't know if I'm eating that anymore. My rotation food is chili tuna and Indian food. You may find this hard to believe, Amelia, but a man of my prestige and stature here in the dirty South really hasn't tried much Indian food. I've seen it. I've seen it in the stores. We got the restaurants, but I'm like, there's an Indian restaurant over there with food that I can't pronounce, or I can just go over here to the steakhouse. So we normally just go to the steakhouse. So yeah, I wouldn't even know what to order there. Fried spam, Uncle Charlie, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just got to be fried well. Steakhouse all day long. That's what I'm talking about, backwoods. We ever get a chance to meet up, brother, if you ever coming through or something, we got one. We got one here in town, and or the big city, as I should call it, and Dodge. It's called Dodge City Steakhouse. It's themed after the old show with Matt Dillon and everything. Like there's murals on the wall and stuff. The food's really good. Venison house here's now again, it's venison. Ain't nothing wrong with deer if it's prepared right and it's cleaned up and stuff. Well, I'm not, secret squirrel. I don't eat Indian food. I'm not saying I wouldn't try it. I've just not been exposed to a whole lot of it. It may be the best thing ever. I don't know. My wife is eating a little bit at work. She works with somebody from that region, and they always put in curry and everything, and she says she loves it. Oh, the somebody's bringing up the M&Ms. Well, yeah, I saw that. The M&Ms and the A&W root beer guy or whatever it is, the mascot there, the bear. They're getting rid of, for anybody that doesn't know, M&Ms. They're getting rid of their spokespeople, their spokes M&Ms, their mascots, because some people got triggered. Uh, One of the M&Ms was wearing high heels or something in an advertisement, and they got a lot of backlash. And they said, "We're just going to get." I mean, how stupid is that? We can't even eat candy in the United States anymore without it being politicized. Candy. We can't even eat M&Ms anymore without taking a side politically. I ain't going that far, man. You know, companies that support, I got to be careful, support the hurting of children. Okay, I'm done with them. I'm not spending money there. But when we're getting down to candy and people being offended, I don't care. You know, I eat what I want to eat on that, you know? Um, it's just stupid, man. It's stupid. Somebody said, "Are they saying the M&Ms are racist?" I actually don't know. Racist or sexist, I don't know. How somebody watches an M&M commercial or an advertisement and says, "Man, my feelings are really hurt. I think we need to boycott M&Ms." I don't know. I I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff when I'm eating candy. I'm not like staring at the wrapper, saying, "Oh man, God, I'm so offended here." Um, it's candy. It's candy. Can we not just have candy? Uh, I've already had to boycott so much. I used to love watching football. I don't watch football anymore. My son's still into it, and he demands he'll get me like for Father's Day or Christmas or whatever. He'll demand I got you this Washington Commanders toboggan or something. But and sometimes I'll make fun of K-Man James because he follows Dallas like a religion or something. But I don't watch football anymore. It's just I've had to get rid of so much stuff that I enjoyed. I'm not getting rid of candy because this group was offended or this group was offended by cartoon characters. And then I saw last night, I don't know if it was a joke or what. Hopefully it was, but the A&W bear, I think it was a bear that they have sitting on the counter in the A&W restaurants, has been sitting there with no pants on. It just wears the A&W shirt and it sits on the counter and it looks cute, and people are offended now because it's not wearing pants. Um, and I'm like, man, what kind of world are we living in when this? I'll close with this. Let me tell y'all this: when we get to a wartime economy and people start getting thrown into the wood chipper of war over there, and people find themselves maybe getting drafted and conscripted to war, they're going to quit caring about what M&Ms are wearing on packaging and all this foolish stuff. They're going to be more important things to worry about than all of that nonsense. So Yogi Bear doesn't wear pants. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen Yogi Bear. But candy. Yeah, we started out with are you ready for the end of civilization? And we ended up today with M&Ms and the A&W bear. That's what it is. Who knows what tomorrow's going to bring, folks. This is John with Prepper Nation. I appreciate everybody being here this morning. I've got to go find some lunch, and again, it's probably going to be ravioli or beefaroni or something. I just know that's coming. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. God bless.